Rana has just joined in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cow Corner Dugout. And here we are. Uh, I was about to say it could have been an interesting game, but it wasn't. It was a fairly dull, boring game. But that also means that there's excellence from RCB coming aside. They've been a standout side in the IPL, and they've been the side to beat. Joining me to discuss more about this is our usual suspects, Nirav and Trinay. Welcome, guys. Rina has gone so silent that he's like, "Oh man, I'm like, it's better to be silent than blaring with those headphones."
He put his alarm on for 11 o'clock and
We suddenly saw us
slept
going.
slept off,
So
as
Steve
did
Bye
Steve Bhai
says,
apparently.
"I slept off."
Snooze
Yeah,
fest, good
it
old
was
fashioned snooze fest.
but it also shows the depth, in terms of between what is a cluster one side and what is a cluster two side. Now, a cluster two side doesn't have cluster two sides blow hot and cold, and today was like the blow cold, day for LSG, and they've been a little off the boil also. They lost their last game to GT, especially when they were batting first in Lucknow, and Lucknow usually you'll think that on a weekend, hot days, sun bakes, but Gujarat basically chased it very easily, and they've had two really really bad games, and here we are, RCB in Chinnaswamy. Now I think that whole thing about Chinnaswamy and no home advantage has completely changed. I think what's changed is the quality of the side that is there on display. What did you think of that, Nirav, today?
So obviously LSG is struggling. I mean, home or away, they haven't really got enough runs on the board in any of the games, right? They are not even have they even got to 180? Because I remember the DC game was 160 odd,
Yeah.
the GT game was 160 odd. So if you can remind me of the other two games, I don't think they've even come close to 180 this season. And this was a bit of a, I mean, last year of course their bowling struggled. So even though a couple of times I remember they posted 200, and I think as many as three occasions I would imagine last season they posted 300 which got chased. So
Sorry, did
yeah,
you say
so as
300?
200 they posted as
200.
many as three times last season,
Okay, okay, got it.
and
Huh.
it got chased. So successful run chases against LSG were a common affair last season, is because they had a bowling issue. This year, their bowling seems to be fine, but the batting is just not. I mean,
Not up.
145, 146 is not going to trouble any of the other nine teams. So not at
No,
Chinnaswamy, not even at Ekana.
right. No, briefly, the wicket had, like, I remember one Krunal Pandya over where he
Hmm.
bowled a bouncer that went like this high, and then another ball that he flighted actually, hit the ankle. So I thought there was some variable bounce, and that's probably why, they were playing like a stay safe approach. At 118 for four in the 15th over, I thought if they get 50 or 60 of the last five, it could still stretch the game till the 17th or 18th over. And God forbid if RCB lose early wickets, they might be in with a chance. But that wasn't the case. I just loved the way Virat Kohli came in. He was, coming down the wicket to Prince, not giving the ball enough reason to swing and coming and hitting. So yeah, I think it was all in all very it was a very complete performance by RCB.
So
Somebody
I
Steve
stand
Boy saying,
corrected.
hmm,
Sorry, I stand corrected. LSG did get to 182 in that Mukul Chaudhary chase.
that was against
Mukul Yadav chase. So that was against KKR. So that was when they chased 182. Otherwise, they would have, if not for him, they would have been bundled out in 160 in that game as
right.
well, right?
So I think LSG is now, as much as they've got their two wins under the table, they're now. I mean, I'm
But
saying
both
cluster.
both of them are getting out of jail wins. There was
Correct.
a GT game which GT had every business winning. Oh no, yeah, that one. And then which is the other game they have won is KKR.
The DC,
So
the
both
Mukul.
games they have literally got out of jail twice
Right.
against DC and against KKR. Both games they shouldn't have. There was no business winning those, right? So SRH they beat SRH. So the Shami game.
So both Pant and Puran are well out of form. What would you think about dropping Puran and bringing in a Bretska probably?
I think it's not a
Mhm.
bad thing because I remember reading Shashank Kishore's match report or the pre-match report saying Nicholas Puran is tonking the ball well, in the nets when nobody's watching post 8:30 p.m. And I actually made him my fantasy captain, thinking I will go, do something left field today. But again, that's unfortunately not the case with Lucknow because
But who is he
either
talking? Is he talking the bowlers or is he
tonking the
talking
net bowlers,
with
tonking the net bowlers.
the net? There's a difference in quality, right? I mean, net bowlers and sidearm throws. Because I can tell you for a fact that Mohammad Shami doesn't really bowl much in the nets. He pretty much finishes a match, and most often than not in GT, I saw him the next match. Maybe the odd time he would just come in, but he was pretty much, just do my regular training and show up in the match, warm up with 12, 15 balls before the game, in the break or whatever. And that was what he used to do. Um, so I don't know who he's playing in the nets, whether that also makes a difference, right? I mean, who do you play in the nets that gives you confidence? So
Fair.
I
I
can tell
mean,
you
do
from
you
GT experience, Rashid had the complete reverse thing. Rashid had said used to say, I don't want to play good quality bowlers in the nets because then my confidence going into the game will be down. So
okay?
Rashid
Rashid Khan was not a batter. His role was primarily come in at the end and swing. So his thinking was that if I play proper bowlers and I struggle in the nets, then I'm not
Right.
walking in with a good mindset. So
Right.
just feed me side arm, let me tonk it. So
Right.
that was
Wow.
the that's
Such
the approach
different,
of
such
mindset.
different approaches to to play.
Yeah, but one is a full-time batsman, the other is a lower order tonker, as Nirav said. So that is there. Would you
But I
drop
think
him, though?
with Nicholas
Purana?
Puran, I think the question for
Who's going
LSG
to
here
captain?
is
Rishabh Pant?
I have a feeling Rishabh is. This looks like a long injury.
No, that was a bruise in his hand. They zoomed in. There was a zoomed in shot. There was a bruise in his hand at best.
but was
I
that
don't think
confirmed?
Hazelwood got born with that ball.
Was that confirmed?
I don't think
Like,
anybody said much yet.
okay. But that said, if let's say Rishabh Pant is out of this particular maybe a couple of matches because of injury, I think it's right now ripe to think about some kind of replacements, and it's not a bad thing because teams sometimes need to make those pivots mid-season, and that's also what Steve By is saying that, for example, somebody like Matthew Britsky, the kind of form he is in white ball, especially in ODIs. Now you want to see if some of that rubs off because even somebody like Aiden Markram or let's say Mitchell Marsh, they've been in very good form in the previous season, but coming here, things are not working out. And today, I thought the way LSG started, first 3 overs up till maybe the last ball of the third over, they were 17 for no loss. I thought they just said, okay, today I'm just going to not. I realized that this is Bhuvi and Hazelwood bowling. Let me play out the first 3 overs like the way RCB did against CSK. They struggled for the first 3, 4 overs. And then they just went hammer and tongs. But that hammer and tongs never came by because as soon as, Markram got out. Unfortunately, Pant was injured, and then there's just a procession. Their batters really weren't able to get momentum at all. And even though Marsh played around for some 40 odd runs, even he didn't get momentum. He was just there occupying crease for a bit. I think it's a great time for LSG to look at mid-season replacements. When I say replacements, who are your other players who can come into the 11? But
I
let's
don't
think
think they
about
have batters. I think they have a bunch of bowlers because they've taken they are unique in the sense that they play Indian bowlers and overseas batsmen. Most other team look to do the reverse. That you build your core seven batters as Indians because you bring in the quality bowling from overseas, right? Most teams follow that approach. Obviously, if you get lucky with with the all rounders and whatever, it's different. But by and large, over the years, the champion winning teams, that's been their go-to strategy
Indian
out
batters.
of Indian batters. Like build your team with a core of Indian batters. Yes, you'll say, of course, there was the Matthew Hayden and
Right.
Simon Cowell in the
But talking
early
about
days of.
Indian batters in Lucknow, you do have players who did play the last season. Like I remember Himmat Singh playing
Yeah, but
for
these are
Lucknow.
middling players. They're not. I mean,
Oh, sure,
obviously, if
they're
they
not your
the
experienced
fact that they
players.
have had to play Samad for 5 games and have him struggle big time and not go to an option, you never know. Maybe they look at an option after this. But I'm a little. I think when we did our first review of the LSG team, the problem lies in the fact that their bench doesn't really have Indian batters. So I would actually go for Josh Inglis first. That would be my first replacement for any of the overseas batters, right? If he's here and if he's not, if he's fit to bat. Beyond that, I don't think they have many options. They have an
Uh,
opener in a guy called Arshin Kulkarni, who was in the under 19 team of, was it 2020? I think the Yashasvi batch.
2024 Under 19 Men's World Cup.
So there you go. So he is one guy. I think they let him play one game that year, the year they brought him in. I don't think he played after that. He's a
Yeah,
slow
I think it
medium
is
bowler,
right. You're right. So I think that's the
left-handed
only.
opening back.
See, they have two options. They have two options here. One, they can drop Puran, play Bratska / Inglis, see where it goes. Two, bench Linda, bring in Manimaran Siddharth, who's on the bench, and then drop Samad and bring in Bratska and have Puran and Bratska in the same team, and then see how that goes. That's probably their only two options they have
So you're
left.
saying Marsh, Makram, Puram, and Bretsky.
Yeah. Manimaran Siddharth is probably a better bowler than Linda is.
And I think Manimaran Siddharth, I remember going for this RCB LSG game in 2024. He got Virat Kohli out. I think he bowled in the power play, and Virat came down the wicket, and then the ball just spooned to Gully, and that's how he got him at that point of time. So I think if he's given the right opportunities, 3-4 games, he also gets more opportunities to showcase himself. But we're talking about batting specifically here. So while we've named some choices, I'm just trying to see that okay, Josh Inglis was in great form trying to pick Bumrah in the 2025 semi-final or eliminator game, and he had a good season last year for Punjab Kings. So yeah, I think Josh Inglis and Matthew Bretska are probably replacements that you potentially want, because you're not trying to get any other foreign bowler, because it's largely an Indian cast that you have. But the other question is, do you have George Linde is their only bowler in terms of bowler, foreign bowler. But do you need George Linde to bowl? I'm not sure about what's happened to Andrik Nokia, whether they are
No, nothing has
wanting
happened. He's just benched.
just bench,
He
right? No,
got
in the
he
sense,
got hammered the first couple of games, right?
but again, sometimes it just so happens that a foreign fast bowler may take a couple of matches to adjust in, but the quality of somebody like an Andrik Nokia comes through over time, because clearly, if Shami has a bad day, and Avesh Khan or somebody or Prince Yadav, they're also fairly new. Today, I saw the way Kohli was intimidating Prince Yadav. You need somebody to get past that. Somebody like an Andrik Nokia, even if he's hit by Kohli, knows how to come back. But somebody like Prince Yadav, Kohli was basically mentally playing with him, saying, "Oh, what? You're trying to negate my line and length by bowling here." So Kohli was basically laughing at him. That's just the mind games that somebody like a Virat Kohli plays. And I think this happened in the fourth over or so. But yeah, I think the question is, what are the changes that that potentially Lucknow Super Giants can make? And I think these are the foreign changes are probably something that one can think of, because Nicholas Puran is not timing the ball, and while he in a 14 game season will give you a couple of games winning on his own, probably he's not in that form that he was in 2025. I think he had a 500 run or a 600 run season last time, right?
Yeah, him and Klaassen were running rings around the whole league last time, but then he dropped off towards the end. And I don't see any way out of this for them besides hoping Bretska / Inglis comes off.
And also,
Again,
the question is, if you remember, RCB had this all-rounder called Shahbaz Ahmad, and whenever there was a collapse, the guy could defend and it could accelerate at the end. Shahbaz and DK rescued RCB in their 2021 season. But for some reason, RCB never played him after that, and Shahbaz is still part of the Lucknow Super Giants unit. So,
Yeah.
if you're looking at all rounders, do you want to look at somebody like Shahbaz and give him like because you're clearly Samad is not really, I don't know, they're not bowling Samad. Shahbaz at least is an option there, or I don't know what people are thinking about somebody like an Arjun Tendulkar. I'm just curious to think, who do they have on the bench that they can use and make meaningful changes to test a hypothesis out.
their best two choices are, as of now, Bratska and Manimaran Siddharth. As I said before, Siddharth and Linda are pretty similar on bowling, but if you want to bring an all-rounder in, I don't think that'd be their best course of action purely because they lack a quality all rounder. I don't think Shabazz is as good a bowler as Siddharth is, or Linda even for that matter.
Mhm.
And his batting isn't as much of a plus as you'd want it to be. And considering the two bowlers you'd have to bench to bring him in, so I personally would not go with him.
See, Karthik, what also happens is when you look down and start making your team sheet, right? Excuse me. Um, you typically take your best four bowlers, right? And then you see who's my fifth bowler, right? And then you see, okay, in my batters, if I can get a sixth bowling option, then I can look at compromising this fifth bowler.
Hmm, hmm.
You follow what I'm saying? So you have to have your best four bowlers in your 11. Your fifth bowler will be your fifth best bowler if you don't have a bowling option in your batters,
Hmm.
right? If you do, then you can toy around with this.
With the
Fair enough?
all-rounder bit. Hmm.
With the all-rounder, which is what RCB does occasionally, saying that okay, Tim David can throw an over, so we can have Romario, and the batting far overwhelms his weak
Right.
bowling. So, right, they've taken that punt a few times. Venki here in that case. Now, so for LSG, their four bowlers currently are Prince, Avesh, Digvesh, Sham. This is a lock-in. They've done nothing wrong today. Yeah, so one bad over for Digvesh. And honestly, Digvesh is not having a great season. Not where he was, and I think they let the wrong spinner go away, which is it
Bis-
happens, right?
Bisnoy, right?
Yeah, Krishna. So given that these four have to be in the team, now this means that there is no batting coming from here at all, right? So
Hmm.
they were hopeful that Hasaranga would balance that. He would be one of the top five bowlers and be a somewhat of a batting option. Now
Right.
the George Linda is the like for like replacement in that sense, right? But George Linda is more of a batter than a bowler,
Right.
right? So they are struggling because they don't have any batting coming through in their bowlers and no bowling coming through in the batters. If Marsh was giving them some bowling, if they had tried out Markram in the first 4 5 innings and see where he goes, then they might have had something to look at. Right now, they squeeze themselves. They have to basically say, okay, Puran not working, find the guy to replace Puran at number five. I don't think they've given themselves an option of trying this up the order, down the order, rotate, because nothing has gone wrong. Nobody has scored runs, right? Mukul has had one good innings at number seven. He stays parked there. They're not going to send him out. You never know. It might be a good idea if he bats higher up in his domestic cricket. I haven't seen him beyond that 60, 50 run inning. So the point is that when you don't have a backup for a struggling mainstream player, there is no like for like replacement in the bench for any of their top seven. I just went through their squad. I mean, there is nobody. If Rishabh is injured, I mean, yes, sure, Mukul keeps, but they don't have a
Backup.
top three left-handed batsmen
Right.
in the
Like,
bench. You know what I mean? Like, so so if the bowler gets injured, if an Avesh Khan gets injured, there is potential of seeing a Mayank or even
right.
a Mosin may come in. But beyond this, they don't have a solution for their batters. They
Right.
have to play like, so unless they take the chance with one more. I think there's a guy called Akshat Raghuvanshi, who also I don't know much about, and Himmat Singh, who I don't know if he's much of a T20 player. I could be wrong.
Yeah, these are their only real options as such. And I think that I'm just curious to see how somebody like Justin Langer is going to react to this, because one is Justin Langer using his T20 smarts at Perth Scorchers, coming up with what would otherwise be the strategy for them, where do they need to change, and also the whole pressure of an owner who's overpaid for a team, who's overpaid for certain cricketers in that team. How are they thinking, and where is it that they are with respect to their journey? Because LSG right now have been blowing hot and cold, and they are right now I think at 5 games and then 2 wins. So it puts them roughly in that cluster two that we saw, because yesterday CSK entered that cluster two briefly, but at the end. But yeah, it's a tough spot to be in for Lucknow Super Giants. They suddenly don't have the
I know
necessary.
exactly what's coming. I know. I have a sense. Let me see if my predictions can match Steve Vai. Puran gets benched. Puran gets axed. They try and find a batter for 21 or whatever crores they paid him. And Puran goes to another franchise for 12 to 15 crores next year and lights it up. Right? So you heard it first. You can clip this up and keep it aside for 1 year from now.
You made that mistake once. Are you so sure that he'll do it again? He let Bishnoi go. He let Rahul go. Do you think he'll be willing to let Puran go and Pant, is in shit form himself?
We've seen this, right?
Struggling teams say it happens.
What I mean is he's done it before. So would will he hesitate this time? Is what I'm trying to
No,
say.
he will double down. You see, you have to be rich and arrogant to get into that mindset.
Yeah. To say that I know it better, and it's for them. It's like an extension of their corporate persona, right? So this is who the corporate persona is, and it happened with somebody like Vijay Mallya in RCB in the first year. Randomly out of nowhere, Charu Sharma was sacked because the team wasn't performing well. Charu Sharma was the CEO of the RCB unit. I
You
don't know if there
remember
was
the quiz question which you guys were stumped on, the team director in 2016, the RCB team director of
more.
cricket operations. And this was the question we had put for during the RCB quiz last year. It was
Right.
Vijay Mallya. He appointed himself the
Team director.
the cricketing director. On
Right.
his way out, he appointed himself as the team director.
Right. And it's a very interesting fact that Nirav actually had conducted an RCB quiz last May. And me, as the CSK fan, ended up qualifying first in that RCB quiz. Though, of course, I think on stage I ended up finishing fifth. But I was surprised that me
Wasn't
and
it a
Santosh.
four-way tie for the first spot, which is something like that, right? It went down to the
No,
last question. It was a three-way tie on the last question.
you're talking about the finals.
The finals, yeah. It
Finals, I
went
think
very close. Went very
we yeah
close
we,
suddenly.
I just know, yeah, we kind of got one or two questions separated us, but we finished fourth or fifth. So I just felt like an IPL team like Punjab Kings, finish off. They start off very well, and then towards the end they're on par with other teams, and then net run rate fucks them over. So yeah, I think you think it's time to do another RCB quiz, Nero?
Sure. I ran out of questions last time. I struggled to get to 30. And then when there was things which I was at that point, I was saying, how the hell do you guys remember this? Because it took me an hour and a half to dig this up. Right? Some random thing of this guy threw the ball to that guy, who took the bails off. It was like
Right.
questions like that. I remember the one question was something like that.
But yes, I think
Going
as
back
much
to
as I
the
call myself a
previous question
CSK
from Steve
fan,
Bhai.
I end up watching a lot of RCB games in the stadium. Just
Bangalore.
that I think this year I've just stopped going because I find the prices at stadiums ridiculous. And with this whole thing about mobile and not keeping stuff, it's just not. And Indian summer is,
What?
I think, I
You
can
can't
feel
carry a
summer.
mobile now also.
No, in the sense in Hyderabad, what they did is if you're having a smartwatch, you had to basically, but it's like somebody had tweeted it, and I've done this myself. In 2013, when I went for the India-Australia Test match in Hyderabad, people were burying their phones were not allowed. You had to basically people buried their phones near a tree where somebody would say that keep it inside this and bury it inside and go. Like I basically I realized that their metal detectors were only doing till the chin. So I put my BlackBerry on my inside my chappal and then I went inside. I'm like, where do I leave the BlackBerry? I'm visiting from Bangalore. So Hyderabad is, I think,
Yeah, I remember there
very.
was a time when there was a metal detector thing, coins couldn't get. But I think we are beyond all that, aren't we?
Coins are still not allowed. Like in Ahmedabad,
Coins
coins
are
are
still
not
not.
allowed. World Cup, it
There are
was not allowed.
stadiums. There are stadiums in which headphones are not allowed, and certain stadiums in which headphones are.
And now headphones are not allowed unless you are at
Yeah,
like somebody had to bury their headphones in Hyderabad 2 nights back. Somebody had tweeted that out. It's not allowed.
Really, in certain
Yeah,
stadiums, I think I've
90%.
I've gone with headphones in fairly. I don't know. I don't know how it
See,
works.
one stand, Chepauk, especially if you're going to the KMK Terrace, it's an 8,000 rupee ticket if you're buying for the IPL. No checks at all. Basically, I can go there,
Maybe it's got to do with
nobody's
that.
checking anything. Like those elites,
Yeah.
basically come there, they don't do much checks. I sometimes feel I can get away with anything if I'm going inside KMK Terrace. But Trinay, in fact, for example, had sneaked his headphones inside. Remember, he was speaking to us from the earlier game in Chepauk.
You don't
We
expose
have
me.
an 18. So I have sorry to rub it in, but I've had a little bit of a privilege. As I was trying to remember because I've taken headphones, I've taken mobile phones, I've taken, but then I realized that there must be different security for people who
Of
are going
course,
in.
I mean, see, you go in as somebody who's an insider, right? In fact, I remember
Yeah,
I had to give stuff like in our group. Remember the other day when we met in Indira Nagar, one of my friends came along, Amit. Amit takes his binoculars to test matches. So we usually have some friends in the journalists who are journalists. We give our binoculars to them, then they come out and then hand it to us. So that's how we basically get our stuff inside. Like if you want a power bank and stuff like that. So
so I had to,
yeah,
I had so my power bank and all used to go. Like actually, we had one of the guys in my team had there's a sticker you get to put on your camera and whatever. So his backpack would go through with all kinds of electronic gear, camera lenses, all our data banks, all our whatever. But they would catch the cigarettes. So cigarettes
this is
would go in the in one
level.
of the kit bags of one of the not the players but one of the support staff, and then so this guy would have to go before the game to till where he was allowed to, and then he would open the kit bag, get the cigarettes, and put it back into his backpack. So
Right.
his
Technically, somebody could even smuggle ganja inside, right?
I think so should be
Yeah.
possible. I mean, yeah,
And
but I mean,
and
we're
once
not
you're
fine. You're not.
how do you even know if it's cigarette or ganja?
It is see, but generally smoking is not permitted in stadiums in India
Stadium.
as a general rule. If you've been to enough stadiums enough number of times, you know where the spots are, right? Because there is operations people and they all smoke. So there's this company called DNA which runs the
In Bangalore,
most of
right?
the
Most of the time.
I think 7 out of the 10 venues. They are
Right.
the guys who are running the venue operations and stuff. So they have a setup, right?
Got
So
it.
you find one person you know in DNA, and they have a little basic, like a makeshift office, if not a permanent office, in one of the rooms. So you have to find somebody you know in DNA, and go behind it and behind their office and smoke. So that's the smoking area in
Yeah.
most stadiums.
Trina is wondering
Insider
why
information
RCB.
from the Cow Corner
Why?
dugout. Exclusive.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
Trina is wondering why you're discussing all this next to me. I'm an 18-year-old. I'm so innocent in life that I haven't heard of all of these things. It's the
Okay,
most
Prabhu
serious.
Dhoni.
Yeah. What is he
The
saying?
previous comment. Pant and Puran's bat should be taken away in the security check. Do you guys agree?
Well, just being a little,
No, you
harsh
should
on
take
them.
it away if it's a weapon. It's not.
It's not even a weapon, right? Yeah. I think this is having a bad time, and unless and until there is some level of mental change that happens there, or somebody's wanting to put their hands up, like for example, the way Samson did. And I think Prabhu also asked that question, guys. Do you feel LSG will make their way to the playoffs? With CSK was hopeless, 0 wins in 3 games, and then suddenly you've seen this little transition. Of course, it's come against some of the weaker sides where you can afford to play a stable total and then hope that they're under par and you're above par. CSK has won those 2 games, but it's made them feel a lot more confident. I think LSG needs those kind of games right now before they play some of the bigger teams like RR, RCB, or PBKS, because they're going to get crushed if they don't bat above par. Today they had an opportunity, but there was zero intent from that team on a tough wicket.
With
I think
CSK
LSG can
missing
make the playoffs
Marriott's
in 2028 or 29.
Wow, the way he said that, I think LSG can make the playoffs. I'm like, seriously?
and with
Serious
Rishabh Pant
podcast, man.
team all the way then.
Yeah, in case Goenka is still the owner, or maybe they change owners and their team name is also something like Lucknow Super Kings or something like that.
On RCB's bowling though, how good was that? Bhuvi, Rasik Salam, and Hazelwood in the power play. All of them were good.
I mean,
They
these
had
guys are a well-oiled unit, right? We've seen the way RCB plays. I'm in awe of that team because RCB bowling was the butt of all jokes in 2018 and 19. And I love the way under Mike Hessen. I was just wondering today while I was driving, when did this whole transition start? And I think with Mike Hessen coming in the 2020 season, they at least for the first time in a very long time after 2016 made it to the playoffs. And then after that, they've been fairly consistent in making it to playoffs. But after this Mo Babat and Andy Flower coming in, right, they've just gone another level upstairs. And RCB has to be commended for their approach, specifically with respect to how they have built a team for the modern era, but then they've not left any gaps at all. You can't get better than Bhuvi, Hazelwood, and it's so nice to see somebody like Rasik Dar. They had that one spot which looked a little weak when Abhinandan bowled the 3 overs odd for 50. It's not like he's a bad bowler; he just had a bad day in due conditions. But Rasik Dar has come and he's filled that slot so beautifully well that RCB don't look like they have any kind of weak spot.
All
To
bases
me,
covered. Yeah.
yeah, all bases covered. To me, they and RR along with PBKS look to be a very strong cluster one unit.
Yeah. So they've got three good pacers from the looks of things. So which cover the power play as well as back end between Hazelwood, Bhuvi, and Rasik. They've got a fairly decent spinner in Suyash, right? And the fifth bowler is a guy you can turn to him to bowl spin or pace. So that gives them you know, so he will chuck it at 120, 110, 15, 105 kilometers, or he will loop it and bowl it slow when the pitch is giving him turn. So
Right,
with Krunal Pandya, right? So I think they've got the balance working, um, and they are the team to beat. Let's be honest. Only one team has gotten past them. Flip side is they see this point. CSK have played the top three and now are building up a series of wins. Right?
right,
So they played RR, they played RCB, they played PBKS, they played DC. In fact, the big four, the four hotter teams according to me in this tournament so far. CSK's five have included four of those, right? And now they can get onto a bit of a roll.
right.
So they've
And I
struck
have a question
because
here.
what we discussed, the team to win gets their combination going and locks it in. RCB
Right,
had it locked in from game one. PBKS has locked in from game one. RR has locked in from game one. CSK has taken 4 games to arrive at this combination, which is now delivering. So I
right.
think
And
CSK is on the way up. And if the SRH is now down to whether these two cases can continue with what they did.
right.
Sakib
The
and
the, the, the two new guys, right? Hinge and yeah.
Sakib.
Now coming back to RCB's opponents, who do you think has been the opponent that has challenged RCB so far amongst the four
In
teams
this
that they
season,
in this season?
no, all have been runaway wins. No? Like,
No.
to be fair, RR, I mean, they lost that, but apart from that,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm saying in the games that they won, not the game that they lost, but in the games that they won. Which opponent do you think has challenged them the most?
trying to remember now which games they've won.
Okay, let me
SRH,
go.
SRH was a one-sided game. CSK was a one-sided game. MI were probably the tightest team. MI, that MI
See, I think
game eventually, like it didn't. I mean, it was a runaway game till 15th over of MI's innings. Then Shafi and Rutherford put them within 18 runs.
correct.
But
You put them
it
within
was a
18 runs.
one-sided game.
See, while RCB have got that margin going for them, I thought the game versus MI or CSK at least exposed a certain part of RCB. Like for example, while they played that game versus CSK and they won by 43 runs. It was a small passage of play because CSK at that point were underperforming, and to bowl so many full tosses to Tim David, they got because CSK had a very good start with Khalil and Matt Henry bowling to the RCB openers, but RCB just sped away in those last 3 4 overs, 4 overs for 90 odd runs. So I think why the margin was basically I mean, it was just one side that underbowled a couple of overs there, and the way CSK also started, or rather finished, while CSK had a bad start. I thought the way Jamie Overton and Prashant Veer batted, if only they had a little bit one more batter who was offering support, that game could have potentially stretched. Because I think the way Jamie Overton got out was in the 17th over at 170 or 178. They made 30 runs after that. But given the way he was batting, CSK could have got to around 230, 240. It basically told me one thing: the day your power play bowler, which is Jacob Duffy and Bhuvneshwar, get hit, you don't have too much of cover with the other bowlers, and even that's what we saw with the RR game also, where if your top two power play bowlers get hit, there are chances that RCB might crumble. But even that, I think RCB has covered that so far. So yeah, getting back, I think MI and CSK have probably uh, pull them at least for 75% of the game was, it looked like there could be a possibility that the other team could come back. But for most part, of course, RCB wins by such good margins that they are far, far ahead. It does look like a one-sided game.
If they can do these kind of, if they can do a one-sided game in their next game against DC after losing the toss, right?
Right.
If they can put up a 240, 250 score batting first, then I'll agree with the fact that they've cracked it. Right now,
I
they're
think
still there. They are still beatable. I mean, they've obviously lost one. The only unbeaten team so far is PBKS, right? They who
right.
invariably they're also slipped under the radar and reached the finals. Uh, with nobody commending them for the fact that they've they've whipped the big boys, right? So let's see that. I mean, I think the end of this week will give us a few answers to. So I think the CSK SRH game will tell us where CSK is. The
Right.
RCB DC game will tell us where RCB and DC are. Are they both going to qualify? Is only going to RCB, because if DC loses that, then they start slipping away, right? Then
Yeah,
the
they are
momentum's
gone. Yeah, they are also getting to this 5 games and 2-1. So
gone. Yeah.
CSK steadily moved from what, 10, 9, 8. They're still at 8. I think with LSG losing today, they are 5 games, 2 wins, but they're at minus point 8, and CSK is at minus 0.84. So that's the
So
thin
not
line
much
of the.
in it. Not much
But
in it.
CSK is a team that's
I think
that's
tomorrow's game is also important. Tomorrow's game is MI versus Punjab. So I think all these are. I mean, every game now is good for the team trying to run away at the top, and good for the teams at the bottom if they're you know trying to.
right. So that's a good segue to move to the next game that's on display, which is the MI versus Punjab game. And I remember seeing this little video where I think Neeta Ambani is a little upset. We saw that video where Neeta Ambani was saying that, guys, I'm just a fan. I'm not coming here as a team owner. I want you guys to think on how you can help each other. It's a team game. We've been in this situation before. But what she said, one part is hilarious. One part is true, because MI as a team have seen so much of flux in their performances that they suddenly come back, and it looks like they're a team on fire. We saw that in the 2025 edition. I think they had a poor start in 2025 too, and then all of a sudden they had these 4 wins and 5 wins, and MI basically used that to come into the top 4. And they're a side that's gone through a fair amount of ups and downs, and they know how to navigate that. But I think what was the hilarious part was she saying that she's a fan. Of course, she has all of the access that she wants. It reminded me a little bit of Gurunath Mayappan saying, "Hey, I'm the cricket enthusiast in the side." So that felt a little hilarious. But that said, for Mumbai Indians, what do you think? Are you going to? There is, of course, you had asked that question, right? What is the rumor going on social media that Rohit Sharma and MI is something brewing up? Did you see that?
I didn't. I just heard something. I had a call with somebody who's connected to that side of the world. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to propagate rumors or whatever on
Same
our
here. I think
stream.
I'm just reacting to what I've seen. I myself don't know much, but Amol Karhatkar, a journalist at Sportstar,
Yeah,
and
he's a seasoned guy. He's a proper guy.
proper journalist, and
What
of
did
course
Amol
he's
do? What did Amol put out?
Amol is also one of my ex-colleagues from Cricinfo.
Oh, really?
So
I'm
yeah,
quite
yeah.
fond
So
of him.
worked at the same time in 2013-14, and Amol had tweeted that, hey, something big is coming up, and it's just not about. Let me just find the tweet that Amol had put, and it was basically hinting that there is something between Rohit and MI that is yet to come out, and be prepared. There's some big news coming out. That's what I think he had tweeted, and this was sometime at 4 in the evening. And I was wondering कि क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? But because I was wondering, okay, am I suddenly decided that, okay, this is not working out and we need to move on? Because sometimes teams get into that mode where they have to say, okay, if we have to be the move from good to great, these are the changes we're making. But anyway, I'm not trying to preempt what could have happened, but that is one thing we need to look at, given that this is news on social media coming from journalists that we've seen. Assuming Rohit is not there or is injured in that
No,
game
so
for.
he's injured for tomorrow's game, is what I've also heard for sure. But I don't know how far that carries on. Like, is it a long-term injury or is it a short-term injury? Is it a one-match injury? There is I mean, there is a guy called Robin Mins who's quite an explosive batter at the top. So they have that substitute to walk in straight away. Robin Mins also plays for Jharkhand,
Do you
and
think he was injured
Hmm.
because he wasn't
sorry,
practicing with the team?
he was injured last year, as far as I know. He was injured in the year that he was with Gujarat Titans as well through the season. In fact, you know, with his auction money, he bought himself a fancy motorcycle and then went on a bus stop. That's what I heard. So he did the whatever his 20-year-old things. But yeah, I think he's now with MI, and I think he's being invested in. So
Got it. So that's one option. uh, Robin Mins. There was a poll that Cricinfo also had, and they were saying that okay, their options were pick up Decock and drop Trent Boult, because also Boult isn't picking up your power play wickets.
I think
There's
last
another.
game he was good. I think in the last game he came back very well.
His death
The
was
death overs he bowled. Yeah.
Stockman
So
was
he's obviously, we've discussed this. He's not he's a pale shadow of the Bolt of 21, 22, 23, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24 was probably his last halfway decent season. But yeah, he's still Trent Bolt, right? So he's still among the better overseas fast bowlers. He's a left-hander who gives you a new ball option and a death option. Hard to come back. I,
Sure. So that's one option. This is pick Decock
Ashwani
and
Kumar is on the
drop Boult.
bench if they ever
Just
do
give me one
choose to.
second, Renee. One is pick Decock and drop Boult. The other options are Danish Malevar, and that's what they're saying, that he could be a straight swap as an opener thing. But I haven't seen Danish Malevar. The
I
other
have
option is
no
to
idea.
promote Namandhir. But I think
To
they
to open the batting.
so Vidarbha is apparently from Vidarbha. Danish Malevar, the last Vidarbha
Okay.
player that I remember who did very well in IPL was probably Jitesh Sharma. I think he was playing
Hitesh
for
Pressfield.
Punjab Kings at that
Yeah.
point of time before he now with RCB. But
He
yeah,
started in
I'm
MI in 2016. 2015 or 16, he started with MI. Right when I was a youngster. I mean, in my first season as well.
okay. So yeah, so it looks like these are the options. But as fans, or you're on this podcast, and we're 112 people are listening in. So I'm just curious to understand what are your thoughts. Who do you think should open? Please leave in your comments.
So
Comments
is
coming.
it confirmed that Rohit is not playing?
I
Do we
think there
have
is a fair thing that there is an injury cloud. I think we've seen a couple of journalists tweeting that Rohit, because I think while he retired hurt in the last game, there has not been an emphatic statement that Rohit Sharma is fit. But there is a cloud over his position. But assuming Rohit doesn't play, because I'm looking for a talking point here, because Rohit is like a huge sized hole in that side, because he's been the DNA for that side for the last so many years since 2011, the big auction that happened.
10?
10, I think, yeah, 10, the auction would have happened. 11 is probably when Rohit, changed from Deccan Chargers to Mumbai Indians. He's been a big part of their DNA, led them to 5 titles, been part of, I think, no, I don't think he's been part of, he's not won the IPL as a player. He's been there as a captain for most part, right? Yeah, 2020. That's the last time Mumbai won the IPL
Yeah. I mean, all five Mumbai's things were with Rohit as captain.
with Rohit as captain. So I think, yeah, so I think assuming that Rohit, because they're saying that Rohit Sharma has arrived at the Nets sometime this evening for some light warm-ups, and he did a jog. He played in the Nets, but there is no confirmation that he's available for Thursday or not. Now, if that's not the case, um, what do you think will affect their team combination? Because Rohit is an Indian batter, so do you get somebody who's an Indian? Because if you're going to get somebody like Quinton de Kock, who's an established opener, but that would also mean you would need to give up on someone like a Shafin Rutherford, who's been in good form batting at number 6 for Mumbai Indians, or you'd have to give up 4 overs of your bank to Mitchell Santner or Trent Boult. So, what would you? I
So
mean,
the
how
thing
would you
is,
look?
two things. So one is, I think what happened in the last game is Mayank has shown that he's not there, right? So I mean, he's not an option. I would feel happy putting anywhere in this 12. This is 12 with question mark on Rohit. Um, so who is the? I mean, if you were to bring in an overseas upfront, there is one overseas you have to drop, and that if it's Shafin, he's the best batter. If it's Trent Bolt or whatever, that's a bank bowler. But if you have to, then who's the bowler who replaces them? Because there's nobody in the bench who gives
Ashwani
me
Kumar.
that. Yeah, I guess. I mean, would you feel happy playing Ashwini?
He
Who did
picked
all
a
right last year?
good game.
Yeah, he did all right.
We
He
had a
was
good
also the
season except
surprise.
for that eliminator game because I was there behind the wickets watching Shreyas Iyer take on Ashwani Kumar in that game at Ahmedabad.
Yeah.
But
So would you
no,
want to
I'm
bring
not.
him back against Yash Iyer? That's who he's playing tomorrow.
Best way to
Yeah,
start.
but I think and your other opener, I mean other foreign opener is still I think midway between Paris and India. So I heard that he's left, and he was the guy we were talking about Paris, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Will
Jax.
Jacks.
Will
If
With
Will
Jacks.
Jacks
Jax
comes
finished the
in,
game. He's a
then you
finisher.
have, then you can. No, I mean he's spent half his career opening the batting,
He
Yeah,
just spent a whole
and
World Cup
paid.
finishing for England, though.
Yeah, that's because England never gets their combos right. They've had Joss Butler at number seven far too many times. Um,
He
but yeah,
did
I
do
think
well
I
at
think
I,
the.
he do well at the top. I mean,
he do well, but I think he's
I
on a
have
slight.
wounds from
He's not.
Will Jacks in Ahmedabad against GT. I still have
Sorry,
wounds.
you
I
still
still
have.
have wounds of watching Will Jacks take on the GT bowlers in Ahmedabad 2 years ago.
Oh, I don't remember
He
that
went
name.
from 50. He went from he. I mean, he scored 100 in
Oh, you're
150
talking about the
chase.
RCB GT game.
RCB
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah. It was painful because I literally walked out of the room, walked back. He went from 51 to 101.
Whoa.
It was in 7 balls or 8 balls,
I
six
remember
sixes
this.
and
I think I was watching it with my
two.
friend in Dharamshala, and he was an RCB fan. And this was, I think, before the CSK PBKS game in Dharamshala, which was the next day. So yeah, we were at his place trying to watch this out.
Yeah, so
So
I
yeah,
have. I mean, he's a fairly decent bowler as well,
so are
even
we
in the
looking at
power
a
play.
South African? So Cricket was reporting that Danish Malewar is a direct swap as an Indian opener, or would
He's
you
an
move
opener.
somebody like a Naman Dheer, who right now is getting wasted at number 8, to go bat at the top and
I, I,
you know,
I have. I mean, if left to me, and which is not going to be, but I would put Robin Mills because I have great confidence in him as a batter. Unless he's unfit, because again see I can't say because I have no clue who Danish Malivar is. Matlab, there is that much of domestic cricket I watch, so it's not my job to
oh,
I'm not a journalist, right? So I expect the journalists who have watched domestic cricket and have followed these guys to know a bit better. So if Crick Buzz somebody is saying it, then good on them. Maybe that's the choice. I have no clue who Malivar is, honestly.
got it. Okay, so I think that's a debate point that's there. But I think Punjab Kings, on the other hand, they don't have any fitness issues. They've mostly played the same teams in all their games. But one spotlight for me is two strike bowlers from I mean two good bowlers from both these teams are India's mainstay in the T20I setup. And I have this worry that I've seen Varun Chakravarti, who's also a mainstay of the Indian team. He's had a bad run. Jasprit Bumrah has gone wicketless this season. Arshdeep Singh is, I think, leaking a lot of runs, while his economy rate is similar to what it was last year, 10.6, 10.9. I think one problem is the amount of wides that we've seen Arshdeep bowl, but he's also not picked up a power play wicket in his last 10 IPL innings. So there are a few worries that we have, as much as we have these 240 run beds or 200 run beds, that some of our premier bowlers aren't amongst wickets. So do you think that's a area of concern?
Yeah, it is
Through form slumps.
for
Not
sure.
really.
Like, but yeah, I mean, they they shouldn't be playing for another 6 months. They've done enough. So
So here's an interesting option that Scene Uploader says if they don't want to change their 11, should get Tilak to open. Tilak anyway bats in the top three. That's a little bit of power play, and I think yeah, maybe, but he gets to bat with swing. I don't know if Tilak's ever opened. Tilak's has batted at 3 for Mumbai Indians.
I
Wait,
think
oh,
they
is
do
this
Tilak and Surya. They do
Should they
if
do
the
this?
left-hander goes, Tilak comes in. If the right-hander gets out, Surya comes in. I think that's what they do.
the very left field options of having Shardul to open? Sharnarin.
You never
So,
know. I mean, these
but
are
I've
all
never
left wing
seen
options.
Mumbai Indians do these kind of simulations or conditional probability type situations, saying, okay, if Shardul
No.
Thakur, is he can hit. Why can why we can basically we don't lose anything in getting Shardul to play 6 balls and getting 10 runs, because the 10 runs he's going to get is maybe going to free up space in the power play for somebody else, or it's eliminating a Rohit Sharma 19 of 13 slow start of sorts, because I think the last game he was at 19 of 13 before that injury kind of flared up. So yeah, I don't think Mumbai has ever employed these kind of methods. Kolkata has been very creative with some of these things. The whole pair of Lin and
Pinch
Nareen.
opener,
Which one?
the pinch hitting
Pin
opener.
sitting
Nareen.
openers, right? Right. But Scene Uploader also says Punjab is like the exact opposite of RCB attack, not a single defensive bone. Hence, RCB is better than PVKS. What are we seeing? I think, yeah, I mean, on paper, RCB definitely looks a lot better than Punjab, because the only reason that I say that is that Punjab, while some of their bowlers like Marco Jansen, Xavier Bartlett, Ishak, all have done well. To me, what's worrying is Arshdeep. And Arshdeep, as the leader of the attack, hasn't. They had to rely on somebody like Shashank Singh to come and take a couple of wickets. So Punjab is, I think, still going through the motions in getting all their players, get up to peak performance level. But they've definitely found that 12, 13. They're in that sweet spot.
Yeah. So I put the potential Punjab team and boils down to just, I mean, they might want to mess around with one odd option, but that's about it. It really. So I think the only thing they could do is I think Stoinis out Omarzai in, because Stoinis is not bowling at all. But I think Stoinis is still a finishing option, right? He is in that Tim David mold that if they get off to a good start and he comes in over number 14, 15, then you are looking at 12 to 15 runs and over after that for sure. Right?
Yeah.
But I think someone like Stoinis, yeah, like for the last
That
IPL
is not
final.
Omarzai's role, is what I meant. Omarzai is more a number 4 batter or something.
Correct. ODIs,
So
he
if you move,
bats much
yeah, so
longer.
if you move like, I mean, the only reason to do it is if Stoinis is completely out of form. But again, I haven't seen him bat enough to know whether he's in form or not. I don't
Correct.
think he's got many opportunities. But if they want to mess around, that I see is the only try out, give Omarzai some balls, see if he's swinging it, give him the new ball maybe, bat him at 5 after a year and shift Nehal and Shashank down for the finishers role. Nehal, Shashank, Marco can do a. These are these are rich man's problems, right? You have क्या करें अपने talent के साथ थोड़ा सा पंगे लेते हैं. So if that's the only reason, maybe they can do this after a couple of games as well.
What
Right.
about Brar for Vaishak?
Ishak's doing well, man.
Why would you want
And
to?
Bangalore,
No, the extra spin option. Again, rich man's problems. You're just trying around.
No, you have, like, for example, Yuzvendra Chahal, who is bowling very well, and on in Wankhede kind of a wicket, right? You score your runs of pace. Spinners usually don't have that much of a role in Wankhede, because even Mitchell Santner has somebody who's a bank. He's going for 4 overs 40, and that's something that I'm actually now looking forward to, because MI's middle overs or middle order is struggling. There is Kai, there's Tilak Verma, there's Hardik. They're not able to get the ball off the square, not getting that shape, and then you have somebody of the likes of Yuzvendra Chahal, who actually gets the ball to turn. He's not your right arm googly bowler. He's of course somebody who's very talented, who's been through many cycles of the IPL, and he's one of the best bowlers in Chinnaswamy. So how will MI take on Chahal? He's dismissed, I think, Surya and Hardik. He has a matchup against them, and because when he was bowling for RCB, and yeah, I'm just curious to understand if that is going to come in way of MI again, because like today we saw, unless you have a way or a way around how you could hit Hazelwood or Bhuvi, you're just going to lose those overs out. It's going to be a 12-over game that where you have to score your runs from. So do you think MI are going to have a problem tomorrow with Yuzvendra Chahal? And if there's one more spin option, as Trinay was talking about, I don't know if it is the same league or quality as Chahal, but given that they have a middle overs rut, I'm just wondering, is that going to be a problem for them?
there's a higher probability of them scoring easily off of Vaishak than you know the left arm off spin of Brar. I think Brar is a better bowler, and Pandya and Surya will probably find Vaishak a little easier to play. Those slow short balls, they
Mhm,
probably
mhm.
will be more comfortable against that than Brar's left arm off ace.
But see what Surya does to left arm off speed is sweep them from fine leg to long on. Right? He just plays that swipe all through the leg side. So it doesn't. Yeah,
He
Steve by
probably
saying
lets
winning team
Brar do
doesn't
that.
change. I agree, Steve by these are, as I said, sometimes you want to keep your player number 12, 13, and 14. They haven't changed their 11 or 12 in the last 5 games or 4 games. And except for their number 3 batter, they haven't changed it for the last 8 or 9 games. So it's literally Cooper Conley has come in for Josh Inglis, and that's pretty much been their only change, right? So Xavier Bartlett instead of who, somebody, whatever.
Wasn't Brar playing a bunch last season? I don't remember
He
Vaishak being
did.
in every
No,
team
no,
either.
Vaishak was always impact sub, always, more often than not. Because he was coming and bowling 3 overs like 15, 17, 19 or 16, 18, 20. So they would, in fact, sub out a bowler and bring him in. Some couple of times they did that as well.
Vaishak's always been this sub, right? Even RCB in 2023 used him as an impact
He's
sub
a,
for
he's
far too long.
a, and he's a good late death over bowler. He gets his Yorkers right. He gets the slower bumpers. I mean, yeah, some days he'll go for it, but so does everybody. You know what I mean? But he has the varieties of
Variety,
pace
exactly.
and pace and length.
If you were MI's coach, what would you do to try and beat the Invincibles, or the Invincibles, as I should say?
I think you
Any
need
I
to
game
have
would
a
I would
strategy.
first win the toss. I would put Punjab bat to bat, and I would put Bumrah and Bolt for 4 overs. That's what I would do, just to begin with, and then assess. If this goes wrong, then I'd
you're anyway
take
going
the
wrong, right?
then
You
I
might
take
as
the
well,
cab.
yeah,
Then I
you're
take
anyway
yeah.
getting hit and going wrong. You might as well get your best bowlers up front. And if you can keep Priyansh Arya and Prabhsimran quiet, because Punjab otherwise have the way they've
You
started, right?
can't keep them quiet. You can't keep them
You'll have
quiet.
to get them out.
Priyansh Arya, you can't keep quiet. You can get him out, right? So you have to. And who's your best chance of getting him out is Bolt and Bumrah. So I would go with Bolt, Bumrah, come what may, and then Shardul in the 5th over, whoever else in the 6th, and then bring Santner on from the 7th.
And I think Punjab has seen this problem where I think last year, where at Mullanpur, CSK played Punjab, CSK had a very good start. And Priyansh Arya was the only guy who just went on and on. I think he just chanced his arm. He got a very good 80 or 90, or I don't know if it was 100. He got a
Yeah,
100
100.
against 100 against CSK, right? Well, the whole team collapsed. But Punjab still had more runs than required, and CSK ended up losing that game. Anyway, CSK was a shit side last year. But the whole point was that's the only time I've seen Punjab bat first and completely collapse around them. So it'll be interesting to see what Mumbai does. Like Nirav mentioned, if you're able to make, because if Mumbai gets the better part of the conditions, which is in chasing, then can they put up a better performance, because they're going to be aided by dew, at least if it's going to be a hot day and a dew is going to come to their rescue, then, and you're able to put pressure with Bumrah doing something different in your first your power play overs, because whatever they've done in the power play, like bring Mitchell Santner out in the fourth over, it's not worked for them. Poole has not been able to get wickets. So something different if they're able to do, and they're able to either reduce the runs or take wickets. I'm waiting to see if something interesting happens. But if unfortunately Mumbai are batting first, what would you then do as a coach? Because that's your weakest spot, right? Where you have to bat first in conditions where the ball may grip, and then dew comes on, everything is neutralized.
I would say go hard, top 6 overs, right? Hold from 7 to 12 or 13. Like as in try and get 8, 9 runs and over without losing a wicket. Keep wickets in hand. Because the MI team, there are a lot of guys who don't need long innings. And I think
Right.
are best suited to come and start going straight away. And I'm saying these include Surya, this includes Hardik. Like they're best off coming and straight away trying to get into fourth gear rather than taking it deep. So if over 14, if they can be at about 9 and over, 8 and over, they need to get to 220 minimum to challenge this team, right? In
Right.
Wankhede, minimum. So you need to get to a 18 over 200 score, right? So that should be so 10. So I would say 10, 6 over 70, 75, 10 overs 105, 18 overs 200, and then so take it till 15 overs and then try and get 15 run over 20 run overs. That's what. So you need to bring 20. You need to and I think if they are batting first, then to mix it up, I think send in Rutherford. So because Rutherford, Surya, Hardik, all three need to start going straight away. So I feel so you have to pick the
I
order
think
of the lefty, right?
that's the other point I was about to ask, because I was speaking about Yuzvendra Chahal. He has a matchup versus Hardik versus Surya. He's got them, 3-4 times out. So if he's going to come and bowl around that time, when would you want to promote somebody like Shafi and Rutherford? Because then
Why not?
Yuzvendra Chahal is going to predictably then bowl googly so that the ball is not coming into his hitting arc. So I'm
Does
just
Surya have
curious.
a bad matchup against him? I'm not aware. I would imagine
But
Surya will play him okay. Hardik will play him okay. I don't
I
know.
just
So
I'll find that out while we are on the show. But I thought that he's got him out 3-4 times on previous occasions. But the exact numbers, I'll just find that out.
okay. So see, sometimes also matchups in the past don't track how comfortable you were, right? Sometimes you or in which over you got out or doing what. So yeah, so I think Surya, Hardik, Shafin, they need to be getting 200 plus strike rates, batting at least 60 of the balls, right, out of the 120.
So I
So
have the
these are your
numbers.
yeah.
I'm referring crickmetric.com, and
Mhm.
Surya Kumar Yadav versus Chahal is 131 strike rate of 88 balls, um, and he's been out 4 times. So that's basically what you're averaging, around 29,
20. So,
striking at 131. Hardik Pandya, 71 of
no,
75
four
balls,
times out of 131 is plus 30 plus, nearly 34.
is a 30 kind of an average. And
30.
he's actually hit his sixes. He's hit six sixes and 9 fours. But Hardik Pandya has a slightly weak matchup from a run stand. I mean, for a run rate strike rate is 94 and 71 or 75 balls. He's been out 4 times. So that's basically an average of 18, strike rate less than 100. So I think if and Tilak Verma has something like a Tilak Verma or a Ryan Rickleton, because of course against Chahal they have a 160 plus strike rate, 163 and 177. So I don't
Lefties.
lefties basically. So if they're able to, if Rickleton is able to survive the power play, then they may delay bringing Chahal in. And if Tilak Verma is not in the same form that he was maybe in 2023 or 24, but yeah, he has a good matchup in terms of at least numbers going forward. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take Nirvikar Jain's question. Can MI bring in QDK in place of Rutherford? Yeah, sure they can, but will they? Is the question, right? What? So if Rohit doesn't play, is only when this question arises, which means effectively you have to bring in an Indian middle order batter
Right.
finisher. So Nirvika, my take on this is that is just one hitter in the end, which is Hardik. Um, actually, no, there is
Namandir.
Raman also. But they need one more Indian batter to squeeze in the middle order, right? So who
But
is
as you
that?
said before, Sherfane is their best batsman. Why would you leave him out
He
in any
is,
situation?
he is, but it's only because QDK hasn't played. I mean, it's one of the reasons is, and maybe Shafin has shown us what he can do in that sense after the game was over, right? Is there another Indian middle order batter who can be squeezed in, which allows this exchange to happen?
Who else would you say middle order batter? I don't think of any because
I don't. I'm trying checking the spot. There isn't somebody I can readily think of because see, if QDK comes in, Tilak and Surya are still 3 and 4, right? Hardik, Namandir are 5 and 6. So you need either. I mean, they are 2 out of 5 and 6 and 7. You still need another Indian middle lower order batter.
If you're looking at known combinations, you can look at bowlers who can bat very well, as someone like a Shardul or somebody like a Deepak Chahar. But in terms of batters, you have
This is
what
one option.
Atharva Uncle and uh,
Isn't he more of a bowler?
I mean they. I
I mean,
mean
he's a left arm spinner. I've seen him.
lower middle order, number seven batter. I think that's the position you were looking for, right? Or you have Raj Angad Baba. These are your
Has
options.
Raj Baba developed? Because he did get a game or two the other day, last year, right? Didn't he? Has he developed like? Didn't he get a shot at playing? Was it last year?
He got. I think in 2025 he got 3 games, and I think in
Yes, probably,
2020 he was. I don't know if he played for Punjab. I think in the
yeah.
2022.
They gave him the new ball.
Hmm.
But
So I
yeah, I
mean these are
mean,
lower middle batters
he's
that I
not.
can.
Yeah, he's been around domestic cricket for 4 5 years and not. I don't know if he's developed well enough as either as either a batter or bowler. He is that Arjun Tendulkar, Arshin Kulkarni zone where you don't know whether they're good enough either as a batter or a bowler. But you nice guys to have in the squad,
Right.
and if they develop, then you put them in.
That must be tough for somebody like Arjun Tendulkar, man. You've had this doubt whether he's good as a batter or a bowler in Mumbai Indians. The guy's poor kid's gone all the way to UP to
Goa.
Lucknow, and the team is not performing well. But they're still not sure about bringing him. But there are social media videos of his performance, and he's bowling some very good Yorkers, in the nets. So I'm just curious because I'm just wanting to see that
No,
kid do because
trust
he's
me, I've
had a
done
lot
enough
of.
social media to tell you that those are the only three balls he bowled in the nets in 20 days or whatever. That's what they're supposed to do. They keep shooting and then put the edit of that this guy is amazing. No, the
Right.
answer is if he was amazing, we would have
He would
seen
be
it.
there.
If he would be there. I mean, MI has done has had him in the bench for like what 6 seasons, 7 seasons,
Yeah.
two full cycles, right? 2020 he was there. I remember in the lockdown. Um, but I have to say, hardest working guy in the MI squad. The first guy off the bus, first guy to pick up the ball, and he will bowl the first. Like he used to fight with Hardik and bowl the first ball in the training. The first days, first training camps, first ball he'll send him. He wants to, and he's last guy on the bus. So really, you know, very very hard working, but doesn't have. I mean,
Right.
hasn't developed well enough for them. But yeah, right now
I
they might as
remember
well play.
I was in Panjim and I actually had a power cut in my hotel. So I said, okay, what next to do? So I went to a mall, dropped my son off, and then the stadium was nearby. I thought Arjun Tendulkar would play, but in that game in Karnataka versus Goa, unfortunately he wasn't playing that particular game. I wasn't in the squad 11, though he was there at the ground. But yeah, I haven't seen him also to have an opinion on Arjun Tendulkar. But that said, here we are. We've discussed. There were 148 people on the stream. Thank you for all your support.
On
148
the
number.
thank you guys for joining on the most boring game this IPL. So thank you for staying up and giving us company.
And
For a
yeah, if
change,
you're
we can
still not
wrap before midnight.
and if you're still not subscribed to us, please do subscribe. Cow Corner Dugout on YouTube. And yeah, thanks. And before we go, let's have a quick round of predictions. And also to our fans who are right now on the stream, please type in your comments or predictions on who do you think is going to win tomorrow. We'll start with Renai.
Punjab, pretty clear. Unless they pull some of Neerav's black magic.
Yeah. So what we need to see is Hardik doing for
Obvious.
an MI game. So this is probably one of my major conflicts, supporting Punjab and MI. So I really don't know. I'm hoping MI wins to get in the mix, but Punjab is a better team. So if Punjab wins the toss, there I don't think they can lose the game.
Right. I'm on this trend where the IPL needs to be restored to its old glory. Enough of all these newer upstart teams, man, like Punjab Kings and Rajasthan Royals and
But
RCB. I just want MI and CSK finals back. So I'm just wanting to see if MI can win tomorrow.
yeah, on that note,
On that note,
shall we call it a night?
Yes, and this is the first night that I think we're doing it. I think we're getting off before midnight. Thank you, Nirvikar. I'm
Right.
also hoping MI will bounce back. But to be honest, I love the Punjab team, the way these guys have molded themselves as a unit. Let's see. I'm just happy that if you get a good thriller, and that's what also you've seen uploader is also saying. Been 5 poor games on the trot. Hope it's a thriller tomorrow.
Yeah, it's almost forgotten when the last interesting game was. Almost forgotten.
LSG KKR. We have at least
Yeah,
one.
that was last week.
That was last
Like
week. Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, which was the exciting game. Was it an
Yeah,
exciting
and
game?
it's a good index if you're able to remember these games. And okay, by the time, by the
No,
way,
so Sunday's games, I remember Sunday's games. One GT, one against LSG, one sided, and which was the other RCB MI, which was also a one-sided game, no, to a fair
this
extent.
one side game was long decided,
Yeah,
but
the
Shafin Rutherford.
CSK DC game was perhaps the most.
No, as a see, while there was a
Which
margin
was
of
the other?
victory,
I'm
I
trying to remember which was the Saturday afternoon game. Which was it?
Saturday Saturday afternoon game was
Before CSK DC.
no, that was the game which had I think LSG. No, was that Sunday? LSG versus
GT was Sunday. It
GT.
was a Sunday afternoon. Then came RCB MI. So RCB MI CSK I had night games. Uh,
This is
in
just the
your
problem
words,
of IPL, right? They
yeah,
play
I
so
can't
much of
remember.
cricket that
Can't
you
remember
get.
what happened. Can't happen 1 week. Yeah, but I don't remember. Yeah, I think the LSG
I think it was
KKR game.
Sunrise. They played that Shashank Singh got that wicket. 8 overs,
Okay, that was a Saturday
120.
afternoon. Yeah. Saturday afternoon. 220
Right,
chased comfortably by.
right. That's why we've forgotten that game. And here we are. We're right now on a Brian Lara-esque 153 people on the stream. Uh, that innings was also played around this time of the year, right? March or April 1999.
Nirvikar has a good memory.
SRSPB, yes, yes,
Yeah, but I
indeed.
agree. LSG's KKR was at least a. I don't know if it was a thriller, but it was a exciting game because of the prospect of getting out of Mukul, finishing it, you know, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, kind of a game. That was last Wednesday or Thursday. So, been a while.
Now, been a while since we got thrillers, so hoping that tomorrow, the
Today,
16th of,
no,
oh, sorry, today, the
today.
16th of April, we have a good day. We've just transitioned from 15th to 16th. And yeah, well, let's hope that we're having a good day today with the next game, which is MI and PBKS. Till then, it's goodbye from the three of us. See you tomorrow and looking forward to you on the stream.